Okay, good morning, class.
Good morning.
Okay, so now let's start. In previous class, we discussed about contraction of skeletal muscle. Okay, so today let's focus on contraction of cardiac as well as smooth muscle. Then after again we will continue with the skeletal muscles, the mechanical events and other in skeletal muscle. So here, if you recapitulate, then in last class we discussed about the contraction of skeletal muscle is brought about by the excitation contraction coupling. Yeah, the excitation meaning the arrival of impulse in motor nerve, and due to that the neurotransmitters are released from the motor nerve, and the neurotransmitter binds with the receptor present on the motor end plate. Motor end plate is a structure in the muscle fiber, skeletal muscle fiber, which is present opposite to the motor neuron. That structure is called end plate. So the binding of neurotransmitter with receptor causes opening of ion channels, and that lead to development of influx of ions and development of end plate potential. End plate potential is not an action potential. So when this end plate potential reaches up to the threshold level, then action potential can be higher. So action potential can propagate in either direction on muscle fiber, and then that action potential propagates along with these T tubules. T tubules are the invagination of sarcolemma, that is muscle plasma membrane, or the membrane that surrounds the muscle fiber is called sarcolemma. So these T tubules are the invagination of sarcolemma. Here the action potential propagated down toward the T tubules, and this voltage is sensed by dihydropyridine receptor present on T tubules, and then it undergoes conformational change, which causes opening of ryanodine receptor present on L tubule. L tubule is formed by sarcoplasmic reticulum. This is modified endoplasmic reticulum, and they are arranged longitudinally, so they are called L tubules. So from here, the calcium is released into cytoplasm. This is the muscle fiber. So cytoplasm, once it is released into the calcium, once when it is released into cytoplasm, then calcium binds with the thin filament troponin C. Thin filament is made up of actin, tropomyosin, and troponin. Troponin has three components: troponin C, I, and T. Troponin T binds with the tropomyosin, troponin C binds with the calcium, and troponin I inhibits the actin, inhibits the myosin binding sites on actin. So binding of calcium with troponin C causes the conformational change in tropomyosin. Thus, the myosin binding site on actin molecules are exposed, and now this myosin head get attached to the exposed actin molecule, and this myosin head get attached because when ATP attaches to the myosin head, then this myosin detached from the actin molecule, and ATP is hydrolyzed by ATPase present on myosin head, which leads the formation of ADP and inorganic phosphate. So when this inorganic phosphate and ADP are attached with the myosin head, then the head stands perpendicular and at 90 degree, and now this is called the docking, cocked position, and this myosin head attaches with the exposed myosin binding site on actin molecule, and that process is called ducking of myosin with actin, the thin filament, and then after the myosin head utilizes the inorganic phosphate, the energy power and stroke the head, tilt the head toward the center. So this actin molecule is moved toward the center. And in this way, and this process is called power stroke, and in this way, the skeletal muscle contract. And skeletal muscle contract till calcium is available in cytoplasm, here in the muscle, inside the muscle cell. Once the calcium is decreased or removed from the cytoplasm, then contraction no longer occurs. So the excitation is arrival of impulse. Contraction is brought about by the myosin and actin, which my binding of myosin head with actin molecule tilt the myosin head and moves the actin molecule toward the center. And these two phenomena is coupled by calcium. So this whole process is called excitation, contraction, coupling. This happens in a skeletal muscle. Now let's see how the cardiac muscle as well as the smooth muscle contract. So far, do you have any question up to this point?
Ma'am,
Okay.
यो हैन इन प्लेट पोटेन्शियल र मसल्स एक्सन पोटेन्शियलमा के फरक छ?
End plate potential is graded potential. Okay. Graded potential basic concept मा पढ्या छ नि. Graded potential भनेको यो थ्रेशोल्ड भन्दा तल हुन्छ. ओके. इम्पल्स आउने बित्तिकै पोटेन्शियलमा चेन्ज आउँछ. Okay, that is called graded potential. But if the graded potential reaches up to threshold level, then only action potential can be fired. Okay, graded potential, यो potential decrement हुन्छ, propagate हुँदैन, decrease हुन्छ. Okay, अनि action potential once it get fired, it can propagate. It follows all or non-phenomenon. Either excites or not at all. है यो सबै बेसिक कन्सेप्टमा पढेको हुनुपर्छ. Okay, so end plate potential is graded potential, not an action potential. But once the end plate potential reaches up to the threshold level, here in the muscle, the threshold level is -40. So the resting membrane potential in skeletal muscle is -90 millivolt, and due to the influx of ion, sodium ion, and influx of potassium ion, which causes the decrement of negative charge inside the cell, and once this potential reaches -40 millivolt, then the action potential can be fired. Okay?
Okay, ma'am.
Other question? बुझ्यो? बुझेको हो?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Next question?
Ma'am,
हजुर.
यो डाइहाइड्रोपाइरिडिन र त्यो राइनिडिन रिसेप्टरको थोरै बुझाइदिनु न, कन्फ्युज भयो.
डाइहाइड्रोपाइरिडिन रिसेप्टर यहाँ हुन्छ टी ट्युब्युल्समा. ओके, अनि राइनोडिन रिसेप्टर यहाँ हुन्छ एल ट्युब्युल्समा. है, डाइहाइड्रोपाइरिडिन रिसेप्टर इज प्रेजेन्ट अन टी ट्युब्युल, राइनोडिन रिसेप्टर इज प्रेजेन्ट अन सार्कोप्लाज्मिक रेटिकुलम, एल ट्युब्युल, and these two receptors are interlocked. Right? So this dihydropyridine receptor is your voltage sensor. So when this depolarization propagates along with the T-tubules, because look at here, this T-tubule is filled with the extracellular fluid, and of course the impulse propagates along with this sarcolemma. Then when it propagates with the T-tubules, then here the dihydropyridine receptor, which is present on the T-tubules, senses the voltage and it undergoes conformational change, which causes the opening of ryanodine receptor on L-tubule, and this sarcoplasmic reticulum stores calcium. Due to opening of ryanodine receptor, causes release of calcium into muscle cytoplasm. Okay, is it clear?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, any other question? Because I'm telling you all those things because today's class also depending on this thing. If you want to understand in MSK, this excitation, contraction, coupling in your physiology class, then it will be very simple. So please, all of you, read, understand, and then memorize. Okay? First read, understand. If you understand, then if you have understood, then you can write down in your own language. No need to memorize word by word. फिजियोलोजीमा त आफ्नै मनले लेख्न सकिन्छ नि, थाहा छ भने, बुझेको छ भने, है? Okay, so this is all about skeletal muscle. Now let's go to the cardiac muscle. Any question, class?
Excuse me, ma'am.
भन.
Ma'am, यो स्टिमुलेसनको लागि चाहिने भन्दा बढी पोटेन्शियल चाहिने भन्दा बढी भोल्टेज किन जेनेरेट हुन्छ?
कहाँ चाहिने भन्दा बढी भोल्टेज जेनेरेट हुन्छ? What is your question? I didn't get your question.
त्यो कन्ट्र्याक्सनको स्टिमुलेसनको लागि जति चाहिनु पर्ने हो त्यहाँ भन्दा बढी हुन्छ भनेर
कति चाहिनु पर्ने हो? कति तिमीले त्यो अलिकति तिम्रो क्वेशन नै मिलेको छैन। हेर, कति चाहिनु पर्ने हो? एक्सन पोटेन्शियल फायर हुनु पर्यो मसलमा, है? मसलमा एक्सन पोटेन्शियल फायर हुनलाई के हुनु पर्यो? थ्रेशोल्ड सम्म चाहिँ पोटेन्शियल थ्रेशोल्ड सम्म पुग्नु पर्यो। यहाँ चाहिँ थ्रेशोल्ड पोटेन्शियल कति रहेछ? -40 मिलिभोल्ट। This is little bit different from the nerve. Nerve मा चाहिँ resting membrane potential -70 millivolt हुन्छ। Skeletal muscle मा resting membrane potential -90 millivolt हुन्छ। Nerve मा चाहिँ -15 millivolt toward the positive गयो भने के हुन्छ? थ्रेशोल्ड मा पुग्छ। यहाँ चाहिँ -40 millivolt मा गयो भने बल्ल चाहिँ थ्रेशोल्ड मा पुग्छ। ओके, थ्रेशोल्ड पोटेन्शियल सम्म पुग्यो भने मात्रै एक्सन पोटेन्शियल फायर हुन्छ। यो चाहिँ चाहिने भन्दा बढी पोटेन्शियल आएको होइन, चाहिने जति नै आएको हो। चाहिने भन्दा बढी छ भने एक्सन पोटेन्शियल फायर भइहाल्छ नि। त्यही एक्सन पोटेन्शियलमा तिमीहरूले प्रोपर्टिजमा पढ्या होला नि, थ्रेशोल्ड पोटेन्शियल र सुप्रा थ्रेशोल्ड पोटेन्शियल। थ्रेशोल्ड पोटेन्शियल र सुप्रा थ्रेशोल्ड पोटेन्शियल, थ्रेशोल्ड भन्दा बढी पोटेन्शियल डेभलप भयो भने पनि एक्सन पोटेन्शियल फायर हुन्छ। एउटै काम हो, है? सब थ्रेशोल्ड छ भने एक्सन पोटेन्शियल फायर हुँदैन। ओके?
Yes, ma'am. Okay.
So please review about the properties of action potential, because now and then we will be discussing in each block action potential. Okay, so please read about action potential. Okay, then we will continue with the contraction of cardiac muscle. Cardiac muscle, by name itself, it is present on the heart. So only in heart muscles, the muscle which are present is called cardiac muscle. In heart, there are two types of muscle. In conducting tissue that generate the impulse called pacemaker tissue, SA node, and then conduct the impulse, and contraction is followed at here the atrium and the ventricle. So this myocardium is the contractile unit. So here I will not go in detail about the histology of cardiac muscles. I will leave this for anatomy class. And in brief, I would like to discuss about the functional anatomy of cardiac muscles. Here you can see structurally the cardiac muscles is like a skeletal muscle. So look at here. There is alternate dark band and light band. This gives the appearance like striated or stripe-like appearance. So structurally, the cardiac muscles are like skeletal muscles. They are striated muscle. They are composed of dark band and light band. Light band is of course your actin filament, and this dark band is myosin filament, and this is Z line. This is another Z line, and the portion between two Z line is called sarcomere. That is the functional unit of muscle. And functionally, the skeletal muscle, the cardiac muscle is like a smooth muscle. Okay, look at here. Listen. Structurally, cardiac muscle is like a skeletal muscle, but functionally, the cardiac muscle is like a smooth muscle. In here, the skeletal muscle, it looked like a skeletal muscle because of their arrangement. The arrangement of dark band and light band. It gives the striated appearance, a stripe-like appearance. And functionally, in cardiac muscle, it has intrinsic capacity. It can generate impulse by itself. So it looks like a smooth muscle. And then here, what you can see, the individual muscle fiber, of course, the individual muscle fiber is uninucleated. One nucleus is present, which is located at center, and each muscle fiber is about 100 micrometer long, 15 micrometer wide. This is branched, and one muscle fiber is attached or joined to the another muscle fiber by the fold of the cell membrane. This is called intercalated disc. So look here, in a cardiac muscle, one muscle fiber is joined by another muscle fiber by series of fold, and this fold is formed by the muscle cell membrane, and this is called intercalated disc. And at this point, or at this intercalated disc, there are many gap junction. What is the function of gap junction? From your basic concept knowledge, gap junction ko function ke ho?
Exchange of ions.
Okay, it allow passage of ions. It act as a low resistance bridge. It allow passage of ions from one cell to another, from this to this to that. So here, one cell, when one cell is stimulated, then the ion passes from one cell to another, from this to this, and in this way the action potential can also spread from one cell to another cell, and this whole muscle act as a one unit. Okay, that is called syncytium. The whole of the cardiac muscle fiber act as a one syncytium. So here you can see, this is the cardiac muscle seen by electron microscope. This is one muscle fiber. This is another muscle fiber, and these muscle fibers are joined by intercalated disc. There is a fold of the membrane. This is the muscle membrane. This is called intercalated disc, and intercalated disc is the place of mechanical and electrical coupling of muscle fiber. Mechanical meaning the two muscle fiber is joined together by desmosomes. This is a type of adhesion. Okay, adhesion. The membrane can be joined, adhere by the tight junction, the desmosomes. Okay, so here this is the mechanical junction. Intercalated disc is the place of mechanical and electrical coupling. Mechanical coupling meaning the fusion of plasma membrane with the help of desmosomes, and the electrical coupling meaning via the gap junction. So it allowed the spread of this gap junction, allow the spread of ion from one cell to another cell. The gap junction provide low resistance bridge and permit cardiac muscle to function as a syncytium. This allows the transfer of ion from this cell to this. So when this is stimulated, then the potential generated here, this can go to another cell, and potential can also again generate in another cell, from this cell to the another cell. So through this gap junction, by spread of the ion, the action potential can also propagate from one cell to another cell, and this act as a syncytium. So cardiac muscle fiber function as single unit due to presence of gap junction, which allow a spread of impulse from one cell to another cell. Hence, the whole cardiac muscle act as a syncytium, meaning the whole of the atria, both right and left atria, contract at once, and both ventricle, right and left ventricle, contract at once, because they act as a one unit. They act as a syncytium. This is because of presence of intercalated disc, which contains lots of gap junctions. Gap junctions allow the movement of ion from one cell to another cell. So when the action potential is fired at this portion, then this can easily spread to another cell via gap junction, and also this cell can contract, and the whole of the action potential spread the whole of the cardiac muscle fibers. Whole of the cardiac muscle fiber contract as a single unit, that is called syncytium. So cardiac muscle is involuntary, while your skeletal muscle is voluntary, meaning we can control the skeletal muscle contraction, but cardiac muscle contraction we cannot control. They are striated muscle because the arrangement of the thick and thin filaments, this gives the appearance like stripes. Individual muscle fiber is 100 micrometer long and 15 micrometer broad. They are highly vascular, shows well-developed sarcoplasmic reticulum, mitochondria, glycogen. So these are the source of energy during contraction. This is the source of calcium for contraction, during contraction. And the muscle fibers are branched and interdigitate with each other. And the point where it interdigitates, this is called intercalated disc. In intercalated disc, gap junctions are present. Gap junctions permit cardiac muscle to function as a syncytium. This allows passage of ion from one cell to another cell. In cardiac muscle, sarcotubular system is well developed. T system or T tubules penetrates the sarcomere at Z line. So therefore, the sarcomere, each sarcomere has only one triad. So look at here, this is from skeletal muscle. This is your myofibril, one myofibril. One Z line, here, this is the Z line, this is Z line, this is the myofibril. And what do you call the portion of myofibril which is present between two Z line? What do you call the portion? Hajur? Sarcomere. Okay, so this is one sarcomere. This is the portion of myofibril present between two Z line. This one, the black line, this represents the thick filament. And this one, the light gray line, represents the thin filament. And this is the junction of A and I band. Here is the junction of A and I band. So in skeletal muscle, T tubule is present at junction of A and I band. So in each sarcomere contains two triads. Okay, two T tubules in skeletal muscle. In skeletal muscle, T tubules are present at the junction of A and I band. So each sarcomere contains two triads. Triads is one T tubules and surrounding two L tubules, together called triad. So each sarcomere contains two triad. But in cardiac muscles, these T tubules are present at Z line. Okay, this is not present at AI junction. This is present at Z line. So one sarcomere contains only one triad in cardiac muscle. These are the difference and similarities. Cardiac muscle and skeletal muscle, it is more likely similar. And contraction also occur in similar manner. But there are some minute differences. So this is one difference. The one difference is T tubules well developed, but this is present at Z line. Unlike in skeletal muscle, T tubules are present at the AI junction. So each sarcomere contains two T tubules or two triads in skeletal muscles. However, in cardiac muscle, only one triad is present in each sarcomere. Then in cardiac muscle, again, the action potential is little bit different. SA node is called pacemaker tissue. The SA node is called pacemaker tissue because they can generate impulse by itself. They don't need any stimulus. Remember, our heart beats, and it beats when we born, and it beats continuously till the death. Okay, in physiological condition. So the action potential starts in SA node spontaneously. This is the inherent quality of heart. So SA node act as a pacemaker tissue. This generates the impulse at faster rate and at first. So the SA node is called pacemaker tissue. Then that impulse from the SA node goes to the left atrium. SA node is present in right atrium. All right. So from SA node goes to the left atrium. Then from the right atrium, it goes to the AV node via the bundle branch. And then from the AV node goes to the bundle of His. Then right and left bundle branch, it goes to the ventricle, interventricular septum, and finally to the Purkinje fiber, and finally to the ventricular muscles. So this action, about the action potential, it will be discussed in detail in very nice in your cardiovascular system. Here, we are not after this. We are after how the cardiac muscle contract. So when this action potential reaches the ventricular muscle, then the ventricular muscle action potential starts. So here, the ventricular muscle action potential has 5 phases. Phase 1, this is the phase 1, phase 0. This is depolarization, rapid depolarization. This phase is because of rapid influx of sodium ion, opening of voltage gated sodium ion, and rapid influx of sodium ion causes this phase, the rapid depolarization. Then what happens? Sodium ion closes and potassium ion opens. So this is your phase 1, initial repolarization. Then after, the potassium ion remain open. There is influx of potassium ion, and the calcium ion also, calcium channel, this is open. So look at here. Due to the potassium, opening of potassium, due to the opening of potassium channel, potassium efflux takes place, and opening of calcium channel, calcium influx takes place, because in extracellular fluid concentration of calcium is high. So calcium enters into the cell, and the net charge at this phase will be equal, neutral. So this gives the plateau phase. And then after, the calcium channel closes here, potassium channel remain open, and due to opening of potassium channel causes the efflux of potassium ions that leads to development of repolarization. So here, what I want to emphasize you is, look, this calcium which entered into the heart, into the myocardium during this plateau phase is required. This calcium is required for the opening of calcium channel present on here, the L-tubule. Here, this is the T-tubule. T-tubule has dihydropyridine receptor, and this dihydropyridine receptor here is voltage gated calcium channel. This is the voltage gated calcium channel, and your ryanodine receptor here is SERCA. It is called the SICICR, calcium induced. It contains the calcium induced calcium release channel. So in order for this channel to open, calcium is required, and calcium we got during the action potential. Look at here. This is the different from the skeletal muscle. In your L tubules, there are CICR, calcium induced calcium release channel. While in skeletal muscle, there is ryanodine receptor. Of course, here is also ryanodine receptor, but here the ryanodine receptor contains the CICR channel. CICR is calcium induced calcium release channel. Calcium is required in order to open this channel. While in skeletal muscle, due to this voltage change in dihydropyridine receptor, the ryanodine receptor is opened, and from here the calcium is released. But in cardiac muscle, this calcium is required, and calcium we get from the extracellular fluid, and this calcium enters into the muscle cytoplasm during action potential. Due to opening of L type of calcium channel, calcium influx takes place, and this calcium enters into the sarcoplasm here in the cytoplasm, and this calcium binds with the CICR, calcium-induced calcium release channel present on the L tubule, and binding of calcium with CICR channel causes release of more calcium in sarcoplasm. And once the calcium is released, again the contraction phenomenon is same. Calcium binds with the troponin C, and binding of calcium with troponin C, this expose the myosin binding site on actin, and again the myosin binds with the actin, myosin head tilted and moves the actin filament toward the center, and contraction occurs till the calcium remain available in sarcoplasm. So here in skeletal muscle, calcium is removed by calcium pump, which is present on the plasma membrane of cardiac muscle, and also via the sodium calcium exchanger and sodium potassium pump present on the sarcolemma of the cardiac muscle. So once this cytosolic calcium level decreases, then relaxation takes place, because once the calcium is no longer available, then again the tropomyosin covers the actin, myosin binding site on actin molecule, and there will be no interaction between myosin and actin, no contraction takes place. So the contraction phenomena in cardiac muscle and skeletal muscle is similar. There is no much difference. Okay, so do you have any question at the level of contraction of cardiac muscles? Class, any question regarding the contraction of cardiac muscle? Contraction of cardiac muscle is similar to that of skeletal muscle, but the difference is here in cardiac muscle, calcium, extracellular calcium is required. The amount of extracellular calcium is relatively small, but this calcium triggers the release of calcium from sarcoplasmic reticulum. In absence of extracellular calcium, cardiac muscle is able to initiate action potential, but unable to initiate the contraction. So for contraction of cardiac muscle, extracellular calcium is required. Okay, even a small amount of extracellular calcium is required, and this calcium is required for opening of CICR, calcium-induced calcium release channel. Calcium-induced calcium release channel actually present on the L tubule. This ryanodine receptor, this contains the CICR channel. So once the calcium binds with the CICR channel, then this channel opens and calcium, which is stored in the sarcoplasmic reticulum, this is released into sarcoplasm, and this calcium binds with the troponin C. Binding of calcium with troponin C, this exposes the myosin binding site on actin molecule and causes the contraction. So the rest of these steps are similar. And then the contraction is achieved till the calcium remain available in cardiac muscle in the sarcoplasm. Once the calcium is reduced, then the contraction will be over. There will be relaxation of the cardiac muscle. Okay? यतिसम्म कुनै प्रब्लम छ क्लास? Class, do you have any question up to this point? Anybody?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
हजुर,
यो हैन स्केलेटल मसल्समा हैन जब एक्सन पोटेन्शियल हुन्छ नि तब क्याल्सियमको इन्फ्लक्स बढी हुन्छ हैन, अनि कार्डियक मसल्समा कम हुन्छ, त्यही पनि
no. Skeletal muscles when the action potential arrives at skeletal muscle, There is no influx of calcium in skeletal muscle. Depolarization is due to sodium influx. Repolarization is due to potassium efflux. है यो क्याल्सियम चाहिँ कार्डियाक मसल्समा र स्मुथ मसल्समा रोल हुन्छ. स्केलेटल मसलमा एक्सन पोटेन्शियलमा क्याल्सियमको रोल हुँदैन. Okay, first thing. Another thing, look at here. The action potential, the phase of the action potential is different here in the cardiac muscle. Cardiac muscle contains 5 phases of action potential. Phase 0, which is rapid depolarization. Phase 1, initial repolarization. Phase 2 is plateau phase. 3 is repolarization. And phase 4 is resting membrane potential. While in skeletal muscle, we have the phase 0 is your resting membrane potential, then threshold potential, then the depolarization, repolarization, and again action potential, the resting membrane potential. हैन. So skeletal muscle मा calcium को role हुँदैन action potential मा. Only चाहिँ cardiac muscles मा हुन्छ. अनि यो plateau phase मा चाहिँ L type of calcium channel opens. L type भनेको long standing. Once it open, it remain open for long time. And the action potential, duration of action potential is also longer in cardiac muscle. This sort of thing will be discussed later in your CVS. Okay. Here I want to let you know how the contraction occurs. What are the some similarities and differences in contraction of skeletal muscle, those from the cardiac muscle. Okay. So that's what I want to emphasize here, because this is MSK class and you are supposed to know how the skeletal muscle, cardiac muscle, and smooth muscle contract. So in this way, the cardiac muscle contract. For contraction of cardiac muscle, extracellular calcium is required, and extracellular calcium enters into the sarcoplasm during action potential. And also there is another source during the once the action potential reaches T tubules, then this dihydropyridine receptor, this contains the L type of calcium channel. From here, the calcium enters into sarcoplasm. Now, once the sarcoplasm, concentration of sarcoplasm increases in here, concentration of calcium in sarcoplasm increases, then it causes the opening of CICR channel. CICR channel is present on L tubule. Here the sarcoplasmic reticulum. CICR is calcium-induced calcium release channel. So calcium, binding of calcium with CICR, this trigger the release of calcium from the L tubule into sarcoplasm, and the calcium, concentration of calcium once increases in sarcoplasm, then it binds with the troponin C, and troponin C, binding of calcium with troponin C, it exposes the myosin binding site on actin molecule, and the contraction, the rest of the step becomes similar to that in the skeletal muscle. In this way, the muscle contract, cardiac muscle contract. Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Then let's go to the, here, this is the summary. Action potential in cardiac muscle. Here, cardiac contractile cells, say myocardium. Now, here the action potential travels down the T tubule, releases calcium from sarcoplasmic reticulum. Also calcium enter from the extracellular fluid. The both sources, calcium is from two sources. One is from extracellular fluid, another is from T tubules. Both causes the release of calcium from sarcoplasmic reticulum. And now once the cytosolic calcium increases, this binds with the troponin C, and then troponin C, troponin myosin complex in thin filaments is pulled aside, and cross-bridge cycling between thick and thin filament forms. Thin filaments slide inward between the thick filament, and in this way, contraction occurs in cardiac muscle. So this is the excitation contraction coupling in cardiac contractile cell in myocardium. So here you can see each muscle fiber exhibit a skeletal muscle all or not phenomenon, which contract to maximal capacity. Increases in force of contraction of a skeletal muscle is brought about by increase in motor unit, while in cardiac muscle, it contracts as a single unit. Force of contraction is brought about by intracellular calcium. So any agent that increases intracellular calcium increases the force of contraction in cardiac muscle. That is called positive inotropic effect. Or any agent that decreases the cytosolic calcium, decreases force of contraction in cardiac muscles, and that is said negative inotropic effect. Inotropic meaning contraction. If increases force of contraction, then this is called positive inotropic effect. If the force of contraction is reduced, then called negative inotropic effect. And the force of contraction depends upon cytosolic calcium. The level of calcium increases, then force of contraction also increases. So this is the difference and similarities between the contraction of the skeletal muscles and cardiac muscles. Now let's go to the smooth muscle. A smooth muscle contraction is a smooth muscle is a little bit different. A smooth muscles are involuntary muscles. Again, they are not controlled by our will. They are unstriated muscles under light microscope, electron microscope. The muscles looks like a smooth. So they are not striated. So this is called unstriated muscle or a smooth muscle. A smooth muscles are found in visceral, hollow visceral organ, like it lines the digestive tract. It is present on esophagus, stomach, large intestine, small intestine, also present in ureter, urinary bladder, uterus. So smooth muscles are present in visceral organ. Okay, viscera. This is present in viscera. And individual muscle fiber is, the length is about 52 to 200 micrometer. Diameter is about 2 to 5 micrometer. And it contains, one muscle fiber contains one nucleus, and nucleus is arranged at the center. Cardiac muscle, each muscle fiber contains one nucleus, while the skeletal muscle contains multiple nucleus. Okay, on structure wise, this is the difference. Group of a smooth muscle, look at here, this is one smooth muscle, this is another smooth muscle, this is another smooth muscle, and the group of a smooth muscle, they are arranged in a seat, in a one unit. Okay, so they also work as a syncytium, as a one unit. If we see the histology of a smooth muscle, then look at here, the smooth muscle, each muscle fiber is a spindle shape, then contains one nucleus. There is less developed sarcoplasmic reticulum. Sarcoplasmic reticulum is not much. There is less developed sarcoplasmic reticulum, and T-tubules are not prominent. But instead of T-tubules, look at here, this is the cell membrane, and there is a small indent. This is called caveoli. This is caveoli. These are the sarcoplasmic reticulum. In skeletal and cardiac muscle, sarcoplasmic reticulum is well developed, while in a smooth muscle, sarcoplasmic reticulum is less developed. Here the T-tubules are less developed. The plasma membrane invaginate, but it is a small, invagination is a small, that is called caveoli. This is the caveoli. And Z disc are absent here in the smooth muscle. And here you can see these are the myofibrils here. This contains, the smooth muscle contains, of course, the myofibrils here. These are, this contains the thick filament, thin filament, and this thick filament and thin filaments, they are arranged obliquely. There is no horizontal arrangement. They are arranged in obliquely. And this is the center one is the thick filament, then this is the thin filament, and number of thin filament is more than the thick filament, and this thin filament attaches to the dense bodies, and dense bodies are located throughout the smooth muscle cell, as well as attached to internal surface of plasma membrane. So here this is the dense bodies. This is also the dense bodies. Dense bodies can either attach to the plasma membrane or it can present at the internal surface. And on these dense bodies, numerous actin filaments attaches. There is no Z disc. Okay, smooth muscle is different from cardiac muscle and skeletal muscle. In a smooth muscle, T tubules are absent. Instead of that, the small caveoli is present. Sarcoplasmic reticulum is less developed. Mitochondria is few, so energy for contraction of the smooth muscle get from the glycolysis. Z disc is absent, but instead of Z disc, dense bodies are present. Dense bodies are located throughout the smooth muscle as well as the plasma membrane. This is attached to the surface of plasma membrane or spread in the internal surface here, and on dense body the actin filament attaches. Okay, this is the difference between the smooth muscle, the histology of the smooth muscle. Then the another very important point, very much important point for this smooth muscle contraction is here. The thick filament is made up of myosin. This is similar to that of the skeletal muscle and cardiac muscle, but the thin filament is a little bit different from the skeletal muscle and cardiac muscle. In a smooth muscle, thin filament contains actin, tropomyosin, but troponin is absent here in a smooth muscle. There is no troponin. So the thin filament contains actin, tropomyosin. Instead of troponin, there is another protein called calmodulin, and caldespone is present on a smooth muscle. The function of caldespone is not clear, not understood clearly, but the calmodulin I will discuss when I discuss about the contraction here. So thick and thin filaments crosses the muscle fiber obliquely in lattice-like arrangement. So here is the lattice-like arrangement, and number of actin filaments are 10 times more than the number of myosin filaments. And the actin and myosin slide on each other to produce the contraction. This length decreases when the muscle contracts. The whole length decreases when the muscle contracts. These are the difference between the skeletal muscle and the smooth muscle, the histology, the interior feature of the skeletal muscle and the smooth muscle. In a smooth muscle, sarcoplasmic reticulum is absent. Instead of that, sarcoplasmic reticulum is less developed, while in the skeletal muscle, sarcoplasmic reticulum is well developed. In cardiac muscle, sarcoplasmic reticulum is well developed, but here in the smooth muscle, the sarcoplasmic reticulum is less developed. Another differentiating point is in a skeletal muscle and cardiac muscle, T tubules are well developed, but here in the smooth muscle, T tubules are less developed. There is a minute indent formed by the sarcolemma that is called caveoli. Then the another difference is thin filament contains the actin, tropomyosin, and calmodulin protein. This is composed of actin, tropomyosin, calmodulin protein, and caldespone. While in a skeletal muscle, thin filament is formed by actin, tropomyosin, and troponin component. This has also 3 components in a skeletal muscle. So this is the difference between a skeletal muscle and a smooth muscle. And here the one myosin molecule is surrounded by many actin molecule. So number of actin molecule is 10 times more than the number of myosin molecule. And Z discs are also absent in a smooth muscle. Instead of Z disc, the dense bars are present. The dense bars are spread throughout the smooth muscle, and from here the thin filaments get attached. Then the smooth muscles can be divided into single unit smooth muscle and multi-unit smooth muscle. Here in the single unit smooth muscle, this is like cardiac muscle. One muscle fiber is attached to the another muscle fiber via gap junction. So here you can see the gap junction, and once this is, if the one muscle fiber is stimulated, then the potential is spread all over the muscle fiber and the whole of the muscle contracts. They act as a one unit. So they are called single unit, a smooth muscle. While in the multi-unit, a smooth muscle, actually this single unit, a smooth muscle, they are present on the visceral organ, like in your digestive tract, uterus, urinary bladder. While in the multiple unit, a smooth muscle, here we can see there is no connection. And in between there is a nerve. Nerve contains varicosities, the dilated sac-like structure which contains neurotransmitters, and there is a attachment, contact at multiple cells with these nerves, and this nerve innervates each cell. And multi-unit smooth cells are present at the iris, at the ciliary muscles in eyes. So here, the intraocular muscle of eye, ciliary muscles, iris, vast difference of the male genital tract contains multi-unit smooth muscles, while the single unit smooth muscle, they are present on the visceral organs, on the digestive tract, organ in the digestive tract, in the uterus, ureter, urinary bladder. Here the single unit smooth muscles are present. And the nerve supply, here it shows the varicosities. Varicosities, the nerve establish functional contact at several points, and this varicosities contains the neurotransmitter, could be excitatory or inhibitory, and this releases the neurotransmitter upon arrival of impulses. Then in the smooth muscle, the resting, so here is the muscle innervates like this in multi-units. This is one axon, then axon terminals. This contains the varicosities, which innervates the muscle fiber. Here, again, the one nerves contains the varicosities, innervates the, this is the single unit smooth muscle, and this is the multi-unit smooth muscle. Then the resting membrane potential. In a smooth muscle, the resting membrane potential is not stable. There is unstable, fluctuating from -60 to -40 millivolt. Like in your skeletal muscle, the resting membrane potential is stable, that is -90 millivolt. In nerve, it is -70 millivolt. But here in the smooth muscle, it is fluctuating, -60 to -40 millivolt. And action potential of visceral smooth muscle occurs in two forms, a spike potential or action potential with plateau. And a smooth muscle itself is a self-excitatory, meaning it contains the pacemaker tissue. It has the pacemaker activity, pacemaker tissue. So it has intrinsic capacity, it can excite by itself. Okay, so smooth muscle is characterized by a spontaneous myogenic contracture that originates in a specific pacemaker area, and pacemaker area is present in the smooth muscle. So here you can see the pacemaker, meaning due to influx of this ion, the depolarization occurs, and once it reaches to threshold level, then voltage gated ion channel opens and lead to development of depolarization. Again, this positive cationic channel closes, and here the potassium channel opens. Efflux of potassium causes repolarization. Once the potential reaches up to this point, then again the local channel opens, which causes the this is taken from the skeletal muscles. So here the Ponni channel, sodium channel opens, and then sodium influx causes the depolarization. Once again depolarization reaches up to threshold level, then voltage gated sodium channel opens and lead to development of rapid depolarization. Then once the rapid depolarization reaches up to the certain voltage, then this channel closes, potassium channel opens. In this way, there is a fluctuation in membrane potential. It doesn't require any stimulus. It has pacemaker activity. Another way how the action potential develop in a skeletal muscle is via the slow wave. This is seen in the GIT. There is a fluctuation of depolarization and repolarization. Depolarization is caused here by the calcium channel, while the repolarization is caused by efflux of the potassium channel. So here depolarization is due to opening of calcium channel, influx of calcium ion. Repolarization is due to opening of potassium channel, causes efflux of potassium ion. And once this potential reaches up to threshold level, then action potential can be fired at the top of the slow wave. And frequency of action potential determines the strength of contraction. So in this way, the action potential develops in the smooth muscle. And the action potential is spread via the gap junction in single unit or the unitary smooth muscle. So once here the action potential is developed through the gap junction propagated to another muscle fiber, and the whole of the muscle fiber get excited, and the contraction occurs in the whole of the muscle fiber due to the spread of action potential in whole of the muscle fiber. So whole of the muscle fiber contract at one unit at once. Then let's see the molecular basis of contraction. Here the calcium is required for contraction. Then source of calcium, we get the calcium in a smooth muscle from the two source, extracellular fluid and also from the sarcoplasmic reticulum. Sarcoplasmic reticulum, since it is poorly developed, so it contributes very little. And this extracellular calcium, this is the major source. This is the major source and play role of contraction in a smooth muscle. In this figure, what you can see is the calcium. This is the smooth muscle, and calcium, extracellular calcium enters into the smooth muscle via voltage gated calcium channel, and this channel opens and closes in response to voltage. So depolarization opens the calcium channel and calcium enters into the cell. Another channel is stretch induced calcium channel. Stretch, when the muscle is stretched, then the calcium enters into the cell. Another is hormone, binding of hormone neurotransmitter to the ligand gated ion channel. This causes the opening of ligand gated ion channel, which causes entry of calcium into the cell. So these are the source which increases the calcium inside the cell, inside the smooth muscle. Another is IP3 gated calcium channel. This is present on sarcoplasmic reticulum. There are few sarcoplasmic reticulum. So this IP3 gated calcium channel is present on sarcoplasmic reticulum. When IP3 is available, then this channel opens, which also increases the calcium in the muscle, in the cytoplasm. Once the intracellular calcium increases, then it binds with the calmodulin. This is one component of thin filament and form calcium calmodulin complex. Calcium calmodulin complex activates the myosin light chain kinase. Myosin light chain kinase is present on myosin head. So this activates the myosin light chain kinase. And then once the myosin light chain kinase activated, this converts ATP into ADP and inorganic phosphate, and binding of inorganic phosphate with the myosin cross bridge. This activated the myosin cross bridge. Cross bridge is head, myosin head with arm together called cross bridge. So phosphorylated myosin cross bridge can bind with actin. This is the part of cross bridge, and then what happens is the cross bridge cycling is formed. So cross bridge cycle, again this is formed in the similar way. Attaching of ATP with the myosin head cause detachment of myosin from the actin filament. Then ATP is broken down into ADP and inorganic phosphate. So here this is the activated myosin. And in this figure you can see here the calcium once binds with the calmodulin. Calcium calmodulin complex activates myosin light chain kinase. Myosin light chain, activated myosin light chain kinase also causes the breakdown, hydrolysis of ATP into ADP and inorganic phosphate. Now inorganic phosphate binds with the myosin, and binding of ADP and inorganic phosphate, this causes the cocked position of this myosin head. Now the myosin head become perpendicular, raised at 90 degree, and here it binds with the actin filament, utilizes the inorganic phosphate. energy and then tilt the myosin head and moves, the actin filament moves toward the center, and in this way the cross-bridge cycle continues. Class, hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have other class after this?
No, ma'am.
Okay, so I'll take only 5 minutes.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, so here you can see in the smooth muscle, action potential in a smooth muscle causes opening of voltage gated calcium channel. Through this opening of voltage gated calcium channel, calcium enters from extracellular fluid into the muscle. 4 calcium binds with the calmodulin, and calcium, when binds with the calmodulin, calcium-calmodulin complex is formed, which activates the myosin light chain kinase. Activated myosin light chain kinase phosphorylates the myosin. Now phosphorylates meaning phosphate binds with the myosin. Phosphorylated myosin, this binds with actin, and ATPase activity is increased, so cross-bridge cycling starts and the contraction occurs, the tension is developed. Then myosin light chain phosphatase, this causes the release of phosphate from myosin. Even though the phosphate is released from the myosin, still myosin remain attached to the actin filament. This is called latch bridge formation. Okay, look, this is the unique feature of the smooth muscle contraction. Even though the myosin phosphate is detached from the myosin is still remain attached to the actin filament. This is called latch bridge formation or latching phenomenon. This gives the tonic contraction. Smooth muscle remain contracted, sustained contraction. So here the cross bridge continues to cycling for some times, allows sustained contraction with minimal energy expenditure. That is called latch state or latching state of the smooth muscle. This is the unique feature of the smooth muscle contraction. So here you can see that after decreasing cytosolic calcium, remember in skeletal muscle and cardiac muscle, when the intracytosolic calcium decreases, then there will be no contraction. But in a smooth muscle, even though after decrease in cytoplasmic calcium, myosin can still bind with the actin to form latch bridge. There is a sustained contraction. Maintain the tonic contraction with less energy expenditure. Okay, myosin head do not detach easily. Thus maintain tonic contraction of the smooth muscle and with little energy consumption. This is intrinsic capacity of the smooth muscle. This cannot be seen in the skeletal as well as the cardiac muscle. So these are the steps: binding of the neurotransmitter with the receptor present on the muscle. In case of parasympathetic, acetylcholine is the neurotransmitter binding with the on target organ, the muscarinic receptor increases calcium influx into the cell. Calcium binds with the calmodulin, and calcium-calmodulin complex is formed, and then this activates the myosin light chain kinase. Activated myosin light chain kinase phosphorylates the myosin and increase myosin ATPase activity and causes the binding of myosin with actin, and now the contraction occurs. Deep phosphorylation of myosin by myosin light chain phosphatase causes relaxation or sustained contraction due to latch bridge and other mechanism. These are the consequence of events occurs in contraction of the smooth muscle. So look at here. This is your smooth muscle. These are the thin filament. At the center there is the thick filament. So this is the thick filament, this is the thin filament. So when it is contracted, this thin filament is here. This is pushed at the center toward the dense bodies. and the distance, the length of this thin filament decreases and the muscle contracts. And during relaxation, calcium detaches from calmodulin, and then first is free calcium in cytosol, decreases when calcium is pumped back into the sarcoplasmic reticulum or into the extracellular fluid. Then calcium unbind, detached from the calmodulin. Removal of calcium cannot dephosphorylate myosin. Myosin phosphatase removes the phosphate from myosin, which decreases myosin ATPase activity, and less myosin ATPase result in decreased muscle tension. And also on the sarcolemma, there is a calcium sodium exchanger. Calcium from the sarcoplasm go out in extracellular fluid, and instead of that, sodium enters in, and in this way the cytosolic calcium is decreased and causes the relaxation of the smooth muscle. So this is the summary. Rise in cytosolic calcium. This causes series of biochemical events: phosphorylation of myosin in thick filaments, binding of actin and myosin at cross bridge, and contraction occurs. This is the here in this one, the bind of calcium entirely this from the sarcoplasmic reticulum. Here the calcium attaches to the troponin C and exposes the myosin binding site on actin molecule. This is the skeletal muscle contraction. This is a smooth muscle contraction. In a smooth muscle contraction, the calcium binds with calmodulin. There is no troponin. So calcium calmodulin complex activates myosin light chain kinase, and activated myosin light chain kinase causes phosphorylation of myosin and cross bridge formation and contraction in a smooth muscle. While in a skeletal muscle, the increased cytosolic calcium, this binds with troponin C, binding of calcium with troponin C. This moves the tropomyosin and uncovers the myosin binding site on actin molecule. Now the cross bridge bind with the actin molecule, and actin and myosin cross bridge forms and muscle contracts. So here is the comparison, a role of calcium in bringing about contraction in the smooth muscle and the skeletal muscle. This is shown. So do you have any question regarding how the smooth muscle contracts? Class, contraction of a smooth muscle.
No, ma'am.
What are the source of calcium in a smooth muscle? From where do you get calcium in a smooth muscle?
Voltage gated channel, ligand gated channel.
Okay, calcium we get. Okay, calcium we get from two sources: extracellular fluid and intracellular fluid. From extracellular fluid, due to opening of voltage gated calcium channel, the opening of ligand gated calcium channel, and stretch activated calcium channel. Stretch activated calcium channel, this opens when there is a stretch. Okay, like in urinary bladder, when the bladder fills, then there is a stretch which causes opening. Okay, so the stretch induced calcium channel, this can be opened by a stretch. Ligand gated ion channel can be opened by binding of ligand, binding of chemical. Chemical could be your acetylcholine, the neurotransmitter, or the hormones. Hormones can also comes under the ligand chemical. So binding of chemical with the channel can cause opening of ligand gated ion channel. And then the voltage gated ion channel, this channel opens in response to voltage. Dihydropyridine receptor, this is present on the caveoli, on the T tubule. So this is the source of extracellular calcium. Extracellular calcium enters via these three channel, opening of these three channel. And intracellular calcium, this here the calcium opens from the calcium releases from the sarcoplasmic reticulum. Sarcoplasmic reticulum, even though it is less developed, there are some sarcoplasmic reticulum in the smooth muscle. So due to opening of calcium induced calcium release channel from the sarcoplasmic reticulum, and also efflux via IP3 gated calcium channel. IP3 gated calcium channel is also present on sarcoplasmic reticulum. These are the source of calcium in a smooth muscle. While in skeletal muscle, the source of calcium is only one, that is from the sarcoplasmic reticulum, ryanodine receptor sarcoplasmic reticulum. In cardiac muscle, calcium, extracellular calcium is required for release of more calcium, and that extracellular calcium we can get either from the dihydropyridine receptor or from the extracellular calcium. Okay, so overall the calcium is very important ion for contraction of muscles, either skeletal, cardiac or a smooth muscle. What are the unique features of a smooth muscle that makes the smooth muscle contraction different from the skeletal and cardiac muscle? What are the unique features?
Absence of tubules and
Okay, the pace of contraction in a smooth muscle is slow compared to a skeletal and cardiac muscle. There is low energy mechanism. The less energy is required. With the expenditure of less energy, there will be sustained contraction. It shows latch stage or latching state. Okay, even there is no phosphate binding on the myosin. Still myosin remain bind with the actin filament, which maintains the sustained contraction. So this shows the latch stage, and it is the state of a smooth muscle. Even after dephosphorylation of myosin, the cross bridge continues to cycling for some time with actin molecule, so allow sustained contraction with minimal energy expenditure. Okay. So if this is asked during examination, can you write? Class, I want to give you one take-home examination. Please write about how contraction occurs in a smooth muscle and a skeletal muscle. Contraction in a smooth muscle and contraction in a skeletal muscle. How the contraction is brought about in a smooth muscle, how a smooth muscle contract, and how the skeletal muscle contract. So please write these two questions.
Okay, ma'am.
Can you do?
Yes, ma'am.
Here, ma'am, repeat one, ma'am.
Contraction of a skeletal muscle and contraction of a smooth muscle. यो दुईवटा चाहिँ टेक होम एक्जामिनेसन भयो, असाइनमेन्ट भयो. यो दुईटा चाहिँ लेख अनि लेखेर मलाई पठाऊ मेलमा.
Yes, ma'am.
Hey, if you need mail address, I will give you in next class. Please send me. I want to see, I want to know whether you have understood or not, because these two questions is very important. They will not ask you to write the histological feature of skeletal muscle and the smooth muscle. You should know, because without knowing the histological feature, you have hard time to understand the contraction of skeletal muscle and smooth muscle. So you should know that. But we are not going to ask about the histology. That is not our right. But we can ask you how the smooth muscle contract, how the skeletal muscle contracts. So please write two questions for me. Okay? Okay, class?
Okay, ma'am. Yeah, ma'am.
Okay, then thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much. Do you have any questions? Yeah, okay.
Excuse
भन
ma'am,
भन
के अरे यो हामीलाई स्लाइड प्रोभाइड गरिदिनु न हजुरको.
कसरी पठाइदिउँ ल भन त.
म जिमेल दिन्छु हैन, मेरो जिमेल एकाउन्ट दिन्छु अनि त्यसैमा पठाइदिनु न म्याम.
भइहाल्छ.
हुन्छ म्याम, म हजुरलाई फोन गर्छु. अहिले म फोन गरेर मलाई हजुरलाई उस मेसेजमा पठाइदिन्छु जिमेल आइडी.
हुन्छ.
हुन्छ, हस् म्याम. थ्यांक यू म्याम.
हुन्छ, सबै साथीहरुसँग शेयर गर है.
हुन्छ म्याम, सबै साथीसँग सेयर गर्छु.